Hey guys, welcome. I'd like to do a super quick tutorial just in case you're interested in setting up a mission where you shoot down some Silkworm missiles. I think that's always fun. Alright, so I just went into the mission editor, piece of cake, real quick. This is not complicated. When I set these up, I like looking at the satellite view so I can kind of see what that terrain looks like. A couple of things I figured out with the Silkworm missiles. One, they need to have line of sight with your intended target. You got to have an intended target, otherwise they won't fire. And you got to set them up to fire at a point. So it's going to look something like this. We're going to go into the vehicle group. Got to go to Iran. We're going to go to missiles. The only one available right now is the Silkworm, but that's going to change soon, hopefully with the Scud, which would be kind of cool. We're going to put that in there. In fact, we're going to put a few of them in there. Let's put 4 of them in there. Edit so we can move these around without moving the whole group. We'll move the whole group there a little bit. If we didn't have it on edit, and we had it on add, we'd be adding waypoints and those things would be driving around. I don't know if they'd be driving around or not. Kind of weird. All right, so with the Silkworm missile, the direction of the arrow isn't the direction the missile fires. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. The missile points the other direction on the launcher. And the launcher needs to be orientated towards the missile needs to be orientated towards your target. So it's like it's pointed away when you're setting the direction on it. Oops. All right. So I made the mistake one time of making this a multi discipline group. So I had like anti-aircraft units, I had some ground units, just to make things a little bit more dynamic and make it look a little bit more realistic. What I found is that it wouldn't fire um, if I had an anti-aircraft unit in there, because it's telling the group to fire. And I guess if I would have gone in and dictated that it use a cruise missile or an anti-ship missile to fire at that point, it might have worked. But I found it's just easier to make the silkworms their own group and then add the other like auxiliary units just in the background. So I'll add a little bit of anti-air defense. We're going to put this on a Ural. Oops. There. Give that a little turn. Add a little eye candy in here. I like to, any non-essential units, like I've said before, I like to make static objects so they don't burn up the CPU. Go to structures. We're going to put a tent in here because that looks cool, and maybe a couple of ground vehicles, like some of those Land Rovers. That general must be visiting or something. All right, so that's just going to be our super simple group. Now we're going to take care of these missiles. We are going to go to Advanced Waypoint Actions, Add. We're going to perform a task. And the only one that this can really do is fire at a point. You can't assign it to fire at a group, which would be kind of cool if you could define what ship you wanted to fire it at. That would be really cool, but you can't. So you can see the range here of said object. We're going to set this out. We can set it out a few miles anyway. Now, one drawback to this setup here is these missiles you can't put this out very far. It'll fire, and then once it reaches this point, it'll start tracking for a target. But even then, you can't put a target like 30 miles away. It ain't gonna work. So we're gonna put an American ship out here. Go to USA. He's gonna be. They're gonna take a shot at the Oliver Perry here, which will be a suicidal shot. He's gonna be cruising along, just like that. See if we can get the fire to point a little closer. All right, we'll see if that works. We're just going to watch the ground vehicles, and we're going to add an aircraft in here. Now, if I wanted to set up a mission where I'm shooting these things down and I didn't want them to fire right away, I could delay start the, or delay activate that group. So that group would just be like sitting there, not activated until there was some trigger. Maybe when my aircraft reaches a certain area of the map, or when, something happens that I want to activate this trigger. However I want the story to play out. That's essentially what you're doing when you build a mission. It's kind of making a story. All right. There's our little Silkworm site. We're just going to wait and see if they launch. They take a minute. There it goes. All right, so that worked. Fired 2 of them. Let's see if there's firing that. That SAM did not intercept that Silkworm or the next one. See what happens here. I would think this would be a fairly easy target for the ship to intercept. But hey, I could be wrong. Oh, got him. All right, there's another one. Ooh. The missile's maneuvering a little bit. Oh, got it. All right, well, we got another one. All right, well, you get the idea. That's how easy it is to set up a Silkworm missile setup. All right. Not hard, doesn't have to be complicated. That could be a fun mission right there. You can have a certain like time deadline and those things will launch. You can tell those missiles, yeah, they took like 2 minutes to fly that distance, 3 minutes to fly that distance, and give you a chance to try to knock those down. That could precipitate an attack on these sites. And kind of fun. Anyway, have a great day.